There is going to be uncertainty, but in uncertainty, there is also opportunity, right? There's an opportunity to stand up and be in purpose and mission. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, Sheetal Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Sheetal Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Story of Spirit podcast. Now, something I don't think many people know about this podcast is if you look in the show notes, that is wherever you're listening to this, if you kind of scroll down and see every single podcast episode, we give you some freebie, something to help you navigating the show's topic. So it's a meditation, it could be a PDF. There's something kind of a nugget, an Easter egg, if you will, in every show note. So you might not know that. So here you go. That's a little gift from myself to you. I wanted to give something to you in every episode to, again, support you in where you're going. And today's topic is going to be a little bit more, I'm going to say, serious. Not to say that any of my topics are not serious. But this one is navigating uncertainty in difficult times. And I really wanted to put it here and now because it's important. You know, when we're coming into Christmas, you know, the time that I'm recording this is December 2024, but it will find you wherever you are, whenever you find this episode, it will be meant for you. And navigating uncertainty in difficult times, the brain really craves certainty. Right? It wants to know what's coming. It wants to have, you know, its feet firmly planted on the ground. It knows what to expect. And when things start to get topsy-turvy, you know, when there is a diagnosis, when there is financial instability, when we are let go from our job, which can lead to instability in life and in finances, when someone close to you passes away, dies, any kind of perceived loss, you know, there's a war on the other side of the world and family is in it, or there's children, you know, being harmed, there can be this feeling of instability and uncertainty because your ability to control the world is really being tested during that time. And, you know, to be fair, there is no such thing as control. You don't ever have control in life, but the brain makes you feel like, oh, yeah, you've got control. This is, you know, you're going to wake up in the morning, you know, you're going to go to bed at night, you know, you're going to go back to your home, you know what you're going to eat likely, you know, you have this kind of routine in your life. And when that starts to shift or things start to threaten that, then we can start to feel instability. And it's one of the things I deal with the most with my clients as they're going through uncertainty, you know, again, where it's like a close family member is going through something. You know, if you have kids, my gosh, you know, it's a roller coaster. I've been in the hospital with my kids so many times. And that I notice for myself, I cultivate routine or I cultivate structure wherever I am. And that's kind of the rule during uncertain times is where can you focus on the control in your life? You know, that you can maybe eat the same thing every day, which I would die if that was me. I would die. I actually go to things that comfort me, like cheese really comforts me, or like a piece of cake would comfort me. So, you know, things that comfort you are going to be really important during uncertain times as well. Maybe that's a note from a friend or talking to a friend or somebody that can reassure you or just hold space for you. I think a lot of times society has bred many people in my life, that when I talk to them about things that are bothering me, they want to fix it, right? They want to give you advice. They want to, do something that helps you to come through it, and some way you're going to be okay. And you're like, I don't feel okay. And I don't really want advice. I just want to tell you what's going on for me and just sit with you. It is something very culturally that I come from. There's a lot of advice giving, and that is not what we want all the time, right? Sometimes we just want a hug. We just want someone to listen to us. Sometimes we want people to distract us, and then sometimes we want advice, for sure. So if you are in a place where you are going through tough times, and you have your network of people and they start to try to give you something you don't want, then it's interesting, because when you're in a place of grieving or turmoil, you almost like don't have any more energy for trying to be, you know, etiquette driven. You're just like, I don't want advice right now. I was going through a really tough time, and someone really close to me in my life was just trying to give me advice. And I said, I don't want to hear it. You know what? I don't want your advice. I just want you to say, are you okay? Can I just hold you while you cry? And she did that. She just helped me as I cried. And I felt so much better afterwards. That's what you need sometimes. I knew that I needed that in that moment, but sometimes you don't know what you need. You're just in it, right? And so, in those uncertain times and difficult times, how can you create a sense of purpose or mission, or kind of doing something that feels like that you can nourish yourself, and where just the littlest things sometimes can really nourish you. Drinking water, going to the bathroom when your body tells you to, taking a shower, creating some sort of routine where you are. My son has almost died multiple times. He had meningitis twice, and so we were in the hospital on really on death's door twice, which they don't tell you you can get it twice, and he did. And in those times, it was really touch and go. We were trading off kid, because we had another kid at home, and we're trading off, and parents are helping us, and we're trying to create some routine. And I noticed for myself, when it was my turn to be at the hospital, I would have a routine. I would make my bed, I would have a meal. My mom was so wonderful. My mom and dad would drop off food for us, and so we'd have our meal. And then I'd make sure Caden was okay, my son. And all throughout, it's everything revolves around them when you're in the hospital. And I would then kind of go to sleep. I'd have kind of an alarm on to check on him. Of course, the nurses were in and out checking on him too. But just have this routine that you could create in a place that is even uncertain. So wherever you can create some routine for yourself is going to be really important. And then uncertain times also, finding your center, I think, is really important. And so those moments where you can just be with your heart, or notice how you feel, really you are becoming introspective. You are almost so aware, hyper aware of what is happening within you, that there's not a lot of, I think, wherewithal or ability to be there for others. So you might notice that your world will become very challenging, because it will show you unhealthy patterns that you've had in your life. And I think this is why I love grief so much, and why I love being a grief counselor, because grief really strips away anything that's superfluous, anything that is not serving you, anything that is a negative pattern will be shown to you through grief. It is the number one tool that our soul uses for evolution, right? It will change you completely when grief moves through your life, and it will wait for you, right? So that uncertainty, where you're craving certainty again, you might push the grief down and be like, I'm fine, we're all fine. No one needs to do anything. I'm good, I'm fine. Good and fine are words that we use. It's a mental word for an emotional question. So anytime my clients will say, I'm feeling good, I'm fine, then we'll pull out the emotion word wheel and be like, what do you really feel? I want you to feel it in your body. And that shifts the energy from your head into your body, and go, how do I actually feel during this time, right? So Also, when we think about difficulty and uncertain times in the world itself, we are in a very interesting political time. There is a major change coming into the US with their government, with the new president coming in at this time. There is an election on the horizon in Canada as well. And right now, it looks like we might be changing governments if it continues on where we're going. So there's going to be a lot of shifts in 2025. And that's why I wanted to put this show here. We have all the outer planets are changing signs or have changed signs. So, for example, Pluto has moved into Aquarius. That energy of Aquarius very different than Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy is the patriarchy. It's how we've been doing things all along. It's structure, organization, detail. Aquarius is blowing all of that up. It is taking it to the next level. It is being there for humanity. It's being there for the environment, for Mother Earth, right? All these things that capitalism, Capricorn, now we're moving into socialism, being there for everybody. And how can we all kind of win, because we all share this planet as well, right? So it's going to be a very different energy. That's Pluto. And then we have the other four planets also changing signs throughout this next year. So there is going to be uncertainty. But in uncertainty, there is also opportunity, right? There's an opportunity to stand up and be in purpose and mission. When we first came into COVID in March 2020, so interesting how the universe times this out. I was just finishing up my grief counseling certification. I had just gone into an intensive in my mediumship development as well. And then I had organized all that time off with the new company that I had started with. And then everything shut down. And then I was let go from my position, from my job that I had just started. Like they really were very kind to me in the way that they let me go. And and then with, everything else that I got, I was able to go full time in business and I haven't looked back. And it's been really abundant and wonderful, but also at a time that everybody, like there was a lot of, not everybody, but a lot of people were needing my gifts and my services at that time. So it was a time of opportunity in a sense that my mission and my sole purpose was being called forward to really step up and shine my light because there was people that were lost at that time. And it was such an honor for me to do that. That's when I birthed Discovering Your Soul Led Purpose. And like the women that went through that program and what they're doing now, I mean, it's just fantastic. It didn't turn out the way I thought it was back then. But now when I look at every single graduate that came through that program, stepped into a mission, a purpose, a job, there's still a few that are like teetering, they know what they need to do, but there's some fear and some other healing that needs to go through. But they are, for the most part on their mission. They know what it is. And, your sole purpose is the opposite of your childhood trauma. So if you think about what you struggled with in childhood, your mission and purpose is the opposite of that. So for me, I really struggled with belonging, right? I'm the child of immigrant parents. I was brought up in Edmonton, West Edmonton in Canada. And I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to be like everyone else. I just wanted to be liked. I wanted to, the guys to like me. I wanted the girls to like me. I wanted to be seen as pretty. And, none of those things happened. Like not until I hit my later teens and realized who, the hell I was. But, and as a kid, all I really wanted was just to fit in and to belong. And now my mission and purpose is to help you realize that you fit in and you belong and cultivate your gifts and your special mission and that you are not weird or you're not, there's what is weird, like what is normal. I was having this conversation quite a few times this week. It's like, what is normal? I think normal is weird. Like there's no such thing as normal. We are all born with special gifts. We are all born with our own signature, our own energy. So when we try to be normal, we're fitting in, like quote unquote normal. If you're just listening to this on the podcast piece, I'm like doing the air quotes of normal because there's no such thing as normal. One of the things I often hear in my groups is people like, oh, I thought I was weird until I found my tribe. That's the key, right? I thought I was weird until I found my tribe. You just haven't found your people yet. I was talking to a client today who has a child who's sort of awkward. I mean, I would say she's about, before her time, really, like way before her time. I have a kid that's like that too, that is just born before they're so evolved soul wise, and I think when we hear the word evolved, we think better than, but it's really like an old soul in a young body. So there's this awkwardness, they don't know how to connect to people. And I think we like to put that into the, autism or ADHD, or kind of create a disorder or spectrum around it. But really, they just relate to the world in a different way. Their brain operates in a different way. And, because it's not like mainstream society, we like to put them in categories. And I think in my parents' generation, that was really shamed. And they're actually brilliant. Like, they have gifts. They have there. I think there's going to come a time when people are going to be like, man, I wish I was, because they can sift through lots of information, or they have special talents. They can hyper focus on things. They have things that they learn really fast, or it's just, it's amazing. Like, it is a gift but you have to learn how to use it. Same thing with mediumship. If it can take over your life, spirit coming through your house all the time, waking up in the middle of the night, you can't go around, and like it's uncontrolled until you learn how to control it, until you set boundaries with spirit and say, unless I'm working, you can't come and talk to me. Or unless your person comes and asks me for a reading, or unless this thing happens, I can't just be going out in the world and reading everybody. I understand spirit needs me, and I need spirit to also do their part and bring their person to me. I just can't violate people's privacy and walk around on the streets reading everybody. That's like walking around wide open. It's like a doctor walking around and diagnosing people. Like, there has been no, relationship made. There has been no transaction or invitation made to, I need help. That is why I only do my work in readings, and very seldom a spirit will follow through on what I ask it to do. If they're going to bring their person to me, then they have to have a certain criteria, and if they do that, then I will give the reading, because it's quite a lot of hoops to jump through. And in my years of being a medium, which is now 14 years, that has only ever happened 3 times, where the spirit has done what I asked, and the person has kind of asked me, and then I said, this is what I do. I'm feeling this spirit present. May I give you a reading? And if they say no, I have to be open to that, because that also is part of the spirit's journey. They have to bring someone that's open to receive from me. If their person isn't open to receive a message from them, then that's something they have to work on with their person. It's so interesting how this all works, right? So when we understand our gifts and we learn how to work with our gifts, that is when it becomes like amplified in the world. We become lighthouses for those who need us. But until we learn how to use our gift, it continues to dominate us, or we feel like we're missing something. And I think there's a real feeling of that really kind of heightening in 2025. I can feel that there's going to be a lot of these kind of lights that are turning on, but they're not sure how to use them as lighthouses. It's almost like it's bright and it's we don't know what to do with this. So if you're turning on your gifts, if you feel like you're not sure what your purpose and mission is, if you feel like, I know I'm here to do something bigger, but it's not what I'm doing now, I'm going to invite you to feel like there is an element in your life that's already giving you that nudge, because it's not just a purpose. Like, you do the thing. I have a client that actually hates this topic. She's like, "Oh, I hate soul purpose because people just think it's this thing, and and then you're done. Like, it's not." And I said, "Well, actually, your soul purpose it's woven through everything that you do. It's not just this thing, it's an umbrella, right? If you think about, like, mine is belonging and creating communities where people belong, I'm going to create that everywhere I go, right? If I see you alone, I'll sit with you. If I'm in a conference, I literally, every time I speak, I'm like, who's here by themselves? Come and see me. You are belong with me. You will eat with me. You will hang out with me. You are not alone, right? And that is, like, I think my mission is really to let you know you're not alone. You belong with me. Right. And so, I mean, again, that it stems from my childhood. And I didn't realize that until I took a class and they did this thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's my purpose. And that's why I invite you to think about what is the thing you're healing from your childhood? Because as you go through the healing, you then create the solution and then can help others with your lighthouse, right? So if you are missing that, if you're feeling a little lost, you know what? Message me. I think I'm gonna be reviving that Discovering Your Soul at Purpose class. It's a 12-week class. And we go through healing. We go through all of these ways that you find your mission. We look through your astrology. There's a lot of, it's a really wonderful class, actually. And again, graduates people who move into their mission or know what it is at the very, you know, least, and then have a roadmap to where they want to go next. That is actually the purpose of the whole program, is to help you move into where you want to go next. So if that is something that's important to you, DM me. Based on the number of DMs or emails that I get, I will create the program. And if I don't get any, then I won't. You know, I think this is one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur, but I already have the program created. I just have kind of archived it because I moved in a different direction. But I feel this nudge of this coming back. And so if this truly is meant to come back, then someone will message me. All right. I'm wishing you a wonderful holiday season ahead, or wherever this finds you. Thank you for being here. And I hope you, if you are navigating uncertain times, I'm wishing you ease and love. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.sheetalstory.com and follow us on Instagram at sheetalstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Sheetal Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legal ease that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Sheetal Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.